Welcome to another edition of The Way I See It with your host, Ralph Williams. And now, without further ado, Ralph Williams.
And good evening and welcome to another edition of The Way I See It. I am Ralph Williams. It's great to be here with you tonight. Here on Monday night tonight and every Monday night as we start in our spring season. And, it's getting dark later, which is great for everyone and everything else. But tonight we have a lot to talk about, as we always do here on The Way I See It. Also, don't forget tonight at 10 p.m., channel 21 Comcast, 47 Verizon Cable, another edition of The Way I See It, the TV version. It's 30 minutes long, but it's still a good version of this. Also, I spoke to a radio boss today, and it's looking like The Way I See It could possibly be going on the radio. I'll keep you informed on that as well as I pursue that option. Also, I'm not going back to Youngstown, Ohio. My nephew is doing better. He's starting to move his arms, his legs. He's opened his eyes, and he's starting to see what's happening. So my nephew's getting better, and I appreciate everyone's prayers, by the way, for my nephew and what has happened with him and his situation. I do appreciate all the prayers. All right. We are in the DJ Fun studios, and call DJ Fun today, 412-545-4317. DJ Fun is your DJ of choice for all parties, weddings, and special events. Give him a call today. I'm telling you, graduation season's coming up. Parties, proms, anything you need them for, DJ Fun is here. Weddings also coming up this year as well. If you want to make your party the best, DJ Fun is here. Call the best, 412-545-4317, DJ Fun, as we're here in the DJ Fun studios. Okay, faithful friend is a strong defense. That is tonight's Chinese wisdom for you tonight. All right, let's get started here with our blast segment. First, I want to blast the IUP kids. You know, you guys consistently, all you IUP kids, every single year have to act like a bunch of meatheads, okay? First, you have this big St. Patrick's Day thing that you do every single season, and you always get yourselves in trouble. You're always on the news about something dumb. And later on Bonehead, I have something that someone stupid did and was dumb. But now a floor collapses in some kind of a townhouse because the capacity of the place was over capacity. And you should never have had that many people in there to begin with. So I don't get the fact that you continue to do this every single year, and you really don't care either. See, this is another thing of what I mean by nobody cares. These kids at IUP don't care about how they act. They don't care at all. And then every year they terrorize the community with this big, huge St. Patrick's Day party and everything that goes on. That tonight is the way I see it. Next, Mayor Gainey. You know what? I found this out, and I was really surprised, and I was puzzled, and I'm angry. And you know what's funny? You need to be angry too. All right? And I'm blasting Mayor Gainey again tonight because I found out that he's telling the Pittsburgh police not to arrest drug dealers and homeless people downtown. And I got some extra news for you today of another prominent business person picking up and leaving downtown because of this stuff that the city council and the mayor refused to do anything about. All right? They refuse to do anything. Nothing. They don't care. All right? That's why we live where we are today in this city, because nobody cares. And now I'm blasting you, Mayor Gainey, again tonight, because once again, you have failed to do anything about the nonsense and the crap that's going on in downtown Pittsburgh that's chasing all prominent business people out, and you don't care. That's the whole problem, Mayor Gainey. You don't care, and don't tell me you don't have the resources. I'm tired of the excuses, and I'm tired of it. That tonight is the way I see it. Next. The two men busted at the airport. Once again, here we go. I got to blast people again who continue to try to bring guns through Pittsburgh International Airport. It's like a broken record. You guys don't listen. Why do you continue to try to bring your gun through security at TSA at the airport? And it continues to happen. And you know what? You're embarrassing our airport, but you don't care because you want to take your gun through the entire. You want to take it through the airport. You want to try to make TSA look embarrassing because you don't trust the fact. You should put it in your check-in luggage and make sure it's secure. Oh, I forgot. We're too busy worrying about playing around on our phone that we forgot that detail. That is the way I see it tonight. Next, I am very angry because I wasn't planning on, again, blasting Rich Fitzgerald, but I am today. And then those of you who don't know who Rich Fitzgerald is, he is your county executive in Allegheny County. Okay? All right. The reason why I talk like this is because it seems like no one seems to understand what I'm saying, and no one seems to know who anybody is. I know people who have no clue who their county council person is. They have no clue who their county executive is. They have no clue who anybody is because they themselves have no clue. But I'm blasting Rich Fitzgerald tonight. Okay, and the reason I'm blasting him is because of Schumann Center. All right, when are you going to open up Schumann Center? When are you going to find a place to put these juveniles? And I don't want to hear no more stories about programs, Rich. I don't want to hear no more stories about programs. I don't want to hear Bobby Wilson, city councilman on the north side, talking about programs. I don't want to hear city council talking about programs. Rich Fitzgerald, you have continuously tied and held up this thing about Schumann Center and about getting our youth put into facilities so that they're off the streets from this violence. They need to be arrested. They need to be put in jail. Their parents need to be charged for them doing this stuff. Do you catch what I'm saying? No, you still want to wait. Now, you've gone out and spent more tax dollars on hiring a consulting firm to give you an evaluation and consult. Do we really need Schumann Center? Yes. Okay. Yes. It'll stop the violence. Even though there's 20 kids in there, it'll still stop the violence. And that tonight is the way I see it, Richie Fitzgerald. That's why I blasted you tonight. All right, our bonehead segment. The city employee who was involved in the forgery and theft charges. Not only did you lose your job, but you also are going to go to jail. That's sad. Here's a city employee, everyone, a city employee who actually makes a good job. The city pays. The city of Pittsburgh, they don't pay too bad. But all of a sudden, you want to lie and forge and do whatever. But that's a boneheaded move there. The party at the apartment in Indiana, PA, that it was connected with this IUP thing that I blasted earlier here just a few minutes ago. Okay, the boneheads who went through the porch because they were drunk and partying, and they had to get drunk during St. Patrick's Day weekend. It's a big tradition there in Indiana, PA. I don't know what the tradition is with these IUP students, but that's what it is there. Next, the person who opened the door of a Delta airline while it was waiting to take, or while it was taking off in the runway. Why in the world would you open up the door? I don't need to ask that question. You probably were sloshed and drunk before you got on a plane. Airports are supposed to be cracking down on this, at the bars at these airports or wherever you can get an alcoholic beverage to try to cut back on this mess. But people, they drink and pay for their booze on the plane anyway. By the time they get off the plane, they smell like a brewery or a liquor store, and they cause all kinds of problems on the airplane and off. So there we are. The drunk lady who at this party, this IUP thing, decided to drive her vehicle into a police horse. A police horse. Okay, this lady drove right into this police horse at this drunk fest in Indiana. All right. My life story today, not a whole lot happened this week. I was Thursday. I was at PCTV doing my The Way I See It taping. And also we were live on PCTV's Facebook page as well. Did Sports Corner at 6 o'clock, as usual, get no phone calls. I don't get everybody. What's going on here? You call every other show on that network, but you don't call mine. Is it something about me you don't like on that network? You know, that's why I continue to call myself Pittsburgh's forgotten son. It's the truth. The media has forgot about me in this town. It seems like most of the media, anyway. I do have some media friends. Most of the media, anyway. Okay? We have stations here who, for some strange reason, don't like my controversial show here. Okay? And today, I met with the radio boss of a radio station where I plan to put The Way I See It on there. And he said, is your show controversial? Isn't that interesting? So, if my show, what is it about this town that no one likes controversial people anymore? I remember when we had the Fred Hansbergers, the Mike Pintex, we had the Doug Hurths, we had all these people, the Wendy Bells. We had all these people. Mark Madden's still there. Okay? What is going on in this town that we have, that no one can be controversial on radio anymore? No one seems to want it, or they don't want to deal with it, or they don't want to have it, or nothing else. Okay? That is what is going on right now in Pittsburgh, in radio. That is why people are listening to other things, satellite radio. They're listening to music on their phones. They don't, because it's so boring. There's nobody that has any kind of controversy at all. None. I'm the one that's creating it in this town. Yes, I am. And you know what's funny? I enjoy doing it too, and I'm not going to change for anybody. All right? I'm really not. If I can't get on the radio in this town, I'll start my own radio station and put my own content on there. Okay? And God help all these media outlets in this town if I do that. God help you. Because I have nothing more to say other than that. But one good piece of good news, and I said this at the beginning of the show, is my nephew's doing better down in Youngstown, Ohio. For goodness sake, I was praying to God that I didn't have to go back to that godforsaken town. I don't know about you. Maybe you've been down there and you've not had the problems I've had. But I had a guy who said to me once, you know, Ralph, I think you create your own problems because it seems like everywhere you go, you have a problem. Well, I have a problem because of ignorant people. I have a problem with angry people. I have a problem with people who don't treat people with respect. That's the problems I have, and that's not out there right now. But you know what's really sad is that you don't have that problem. Because you know why? You don't care. You don't care about how someone speaks to you. You don't care about what anyone has to say. Because they say it on TikTok, they say it on Facebook, they say it on all these outlets. And here we are. They're saying it to me, disrespecting me. I've been disrespected by this media, some of this media in this town. It makes me sick. I'm Pittsburgh's son. I've lived here my whole life. Why would you treat me like that? And then you want to know why I blast you. You want to know why I say things about you on my show. And you know, the one piece of ignorance that I really can't stand, I've said this on many shows, I'm going to say it again, is the fact that you don't return my emails and my phone calls. I have guests that don't do that. And I'll give you a prime example. Mayor Gainey's office. Mayor Gainey hasn't been talking too much these days because you know why? Everyone's hauling him to the carpet about what's been going on around here. Okay? Do your job. Don't disrespect people. Don't make problems for other people. Okay? And don't waste people's time, and you won't hear from me. You'll stay off my radar. Or don't do anything to my family. Or don't do anything to my friends. Or don't screw around with my money or anything like that. Then we won't have a problem. And now that I have this outlet to do this, okay, that makes me more dangerous. Yeah, that's right. If some media station in this town refuses to help me and put my show on their station, I'll just go and start my own radio station. I don't care. I don't. I'm on an internet station already. I'm on Blog Talk Radio. I have 2 shows. 2 on Blog Talk Radio. One on Thursday night, one on Friday night. Okay? I'm already nationwide. I've been on many shows on social media. Peter Blake on Wednesday night. I've been on several other shows. Scott Morganroth down in South Florida. I've been on a show last summer in New England to talk about the New England-Pittsburgh matchup. I've been on many different outlets. Okay? But I can't be on anything here in Pittsburgh because we're afraid we're going to offend somebody. We can't talk about Richie Fitzgerald. We can't talk about Mayor Gainey. I'm friends with Mayor Gainey, and I still say things about him because he's not doing his job. And people who know me, friends or not, if I got something to say, I'm going to tell you, and you know that. My favorite show was on last night. Every Sunday night, my wife and I watch it. It's on May TV now. You know what it is? All in the Family. You know why I like All in the Family? Because Archie Bunker told it like it was. Just like I do. Just like other people do in this town. Other media people. I threw you a couple names out there. But the ones that were once controversial are all up here up here with the Lord. Okay? I'm here. All right? We're too busy hiring old news people who have been on the news for 50 years, but we're still letting them be on the radio. Why? Why? Oh, so we could talk news all day long. Okay? All right. We have a lot to talk about tonight here on this program. A lot of key topics. First question I have here is, what's going on with all these major corporations? I'm talking about some major people laying off workers, cutting jobs. And we have 8,000 million jobs out there, and nobody wants to work. But we're cutting jobs. We're cutting. So if we're cutting jobs and there is all these jobs out there, why isn't everybody working? Okay. Unemployment, COVID funds, all that all has gone bye-byes. So continue to sit there and think and dream, which is what a lot of people do. They sit there and they dream. You know, I have dreams too. But a lot of my dreams don't come true. Some dreams do, others don't. So what I'm saying to you is this. McDonald's is bankrupt. A company in this town that owns 8 McDonald's restaurants is bankrupt. Why? What is going on here? And please do not tell me that there's no money to be made with McDonald's in this town. Go by a McDonald's drive-thru one time and tell me you don't see a ton of cars there. Okay? Okay, all these fast food workers over the years, they've all wanted $15 an hour. They got $15 an hour, and where are they? Where's all these fast food workers who once a year have this big celebration or this big rally that they want $15 an hour? So you know what's going to come up next? They're going to want $20 an hour. Then they're going to want $30 an hour. And they still mess your order up. They still can't understand what you're saying, even if you shout real loud. Okay? I've almost lost my voice because of that. Did you say a small vanilla cone? No, I said a small Coke. And you want $15 an hour. This is where we are today, everybody in society. And the reason why we're here is because of you. Because you don't want to work. Because you don't want to go out there and do anything. Thursday night, I was doing Sports Corner with my co-host, Smoking Jim Frazier. And sometimes we get into some general topics. And I was telling them about how people were calling me a communist. How dare you go out there and degrade people for not working? If I don't want to work, that's my business. This is a free country. You're a communist. I say something to somebody out on the street that's wearing flip-flops. And it's 30 below zero. And he has shorts on and he acts like he's in Florida. I'm a communist because I have freedom of right to walk around any way I choose. Common sense did this. It went bye-byes. It went bye-byes many, many, many years ago. And it's never coming back. Common sense. How many people do you know that have common sense? Nobody. All right? Most of the people I know have common sense. There's a few out there who the term that my father uses is elevator hasn't gotten off the ground yet. Okay? And believe me, I've met a lot of those types. But McDonald's in town here, 8 McDonald's restaurants. This Rice Enterprises, I believe it is. And they're bankrupt. In Detroit, listen to this, in Detroit, they're closing up 26 Burger Kings. Closing them. Portland, Oregon. I was going to talk about Portland, Oregon. What is so wrong with Portland, Oregon? That here, Walmarts, all the Walmarts in Portland have closed up because of too much theft. If you think Pittsburgh is bad, take a look at Portland, Oregon. Take a look at Detroit's always been sad. I mean, I don't even want to go there about Detroit. I've never seen a city in my life that has a casino and they're bankrupt. You have a casino and you're bankrupt. Is there something wrong with this picture? Yes, I think there is. And I think that you should think that way too, but you don't. That's why we're where we are. That's why our country is where it is today. Oh, I know. You're going to blame Joe Biden. You're going to blame Donald Trump. You're going to blame Vladimir Putin in Russia. You're going to blame whoever, Swahili or whatever in some other country. That's who you're going to blame. It's Joe Biden's fault that you don't have a job. There's jobs out there. Go get them. And they're not paying bad money. They're paying $15, $20, $30 an hour some of these places. Overtime out of the yin-yang. Greyhound can't even get drivers to pick people up, and people are stranded at bus stations. God help you if you take a Greyhound. They don't have drivers. Pittsburgh Regional Transit is still hiring for drivers. They still don't have enough. Okay? Why are we continually at this stage? COVID's gone. It's been gone for 3 years now, which shouldn't have never have happened to begin with. And I'm not going to go into that because that makes me angry. And I'm in a pretty decent mood today, considering the fact that I'm probably going to get ditched again by another radio station. Okay. Here we are. And you want to know why I call myself Pittsburgh's forgotten son? Interesting, isn't it? Very interesting. Some more key topics tonight. We're going to talk about Wiener World downtown. Denny has had enough, the owner of Wiener World. He's getting ready to pack up and leave. He said when his lease is up, he's gone. Really sad. Wiener World got good food. Nice hot dog, French fries, nice people, big fish sandwich. But the mayor, and in case you didn't hear what I had to blast earlier, in case you're in some other planet known as the TikTok planet or the Facebook planet or the whatever planet you're on, and it's not here on Earth, okay? Mayor Gainey has ordered Pittsburgh police not to arrest drug dealers downtown or homeless people. So last week, and it happened to be last Thursday, this knucklehead decides to go, and you can see the video on my The Way I See It show on PCTV. Go on their Facebook page. You can see the current taping from Thursday. All right. Walks into Wiener World, tries to rob them, or did rob somebody. Goes into Wiener World, causes all kinds of problems, comes out of Wiener World, and runs up in and out of Smithfield Street screaming obscenities. Then there's an ambulance there because there's a dead homeless or some dead person they thought was dead. That's a homeless person. They're laying all over Smithfield Street. Okay? They're laying everywhere around Smithfield Street. So this ambulance is there. This meathead or idiot or whatever you want to call him, degenerate, decides to go. The same guy decides to walk right out and block the ambulance from moving. Police are there on horses, did nothing. They sat there and looked at him. I found out something very interesting today. They need 18 cops to fill, or 18 cops each shift to make downtown safe. You ready for this? You're really gonna. This is really gonna piss business owners off downtown and everything. Because if you don't know already, you're gonna know. One cop, volunteered for downtown, and when the lieutenant went to try to assign cops to downtown, they filed a grievance. They went and they transferred to another, and they're transferring out of zone 2 and moving to zone 3 and 4 and 5. Away, they don't want nothing to do with downtown, these cops. This is where we are now. I blame the prior administration, Bill Peduto and his clones. I blame them for this. I blame city council because they're weak. They're worried about plastic bags and programs and all this other stuff. That's what they're worried about. That's it. They don't care. I'm possibly speaking tomorrow at city council. And I'm going to tear them apart because you know why? This is unacceptable to me. And if you're a city resident, it should be unacceptable to you, but it's not. Because you let it happen. You let it happen. There's a businessman whose name I'm not going to mention, whose company I'm not going to mention, has been in town for 54 years. He's pulling out. His workers are afraid to come to work because the secretary who brings him his coffee every morning or whatever, his breakfast, got mugged. Then got threatened by the guy who mugged her with a gun to her head and the guy said, well, if you go and call the cops, I know where you work and I know which way you take to go to work. So guess what? I'll kill you. I know a guy who said when he goes downtown for anything other than to go to the courthouse, he carries his gun with him. Good. He said he's already been accosted by people and he's told them no. He said no. Okay? No. Big N-O. A capital N and a capital O. No. No, I don't want to give you no money. No, you don't get any. And then they get mad at you and get ignorant with you. And he said he pulled his gun out and he told them, get away from me. I don't want to be bothered. I told you 6 times. You don't listen. Because all these homeless people downtown and all these drug dealers are what? On drugs. Or they can't hear. They have what's called selective hearing. Downtown Pittsburgh is a mess. And it's going to be a mess for a while because I don't see the Gainey administration cleaning it up. Rich Fitzgerald, he doesn't want to open up Schumann Center anytime soon. He's too busy worrying about getting a committee together or one of these companies that comes in and does these, what do they call them? Consulting. He has to bring somebody in and look over stuff before he can make a decision. It's real simple, Rich. Open up Schumann Center. It's that simple. Put them in the county jail. They have 400 extra beds down there they don't know what to do with. Put them in Western Penitentiary. Oh, we got to save it for Mayor of Kingstown, which is on Paramount Plus. Don't. Because Jeremy Renner may not be coming back. He got hurt recently. So guess what? If they decide not to replace him with no one, bye-byes to Mayor of Kingstown. Western Penitentiary is again sitting over there. Put these juveniles in jail. Crack down on these parents. Get these drug dealers off the streets of downtown. I gave you suggestions. But I'm the bad guy here because of the suggestions that I gave you. I twittered Governor Shapiro. And I said to him, and I quote, what are you going to do about this stuff in downtown Pittsburgh? Oh, we're going to do the best we can to keep everybody safe. I didn't ask you that question, Shapiro. Josh Shapiro, I didn't ask you that question. The question I asked you, and quit dancing, because I don't dance. Quit dancing around my question. The question is, what are you going to do? You're the governor here. This is unacceptable here. If it was Philadelphia, you'd send the National Guard in right away. It's Pittsburgh. And you know what's sad? You're from this area. Why aren't you doing something about it? Why aren't you sending in the National Guard? Why aren't you calling the state police? Why aren't you getting the county police and the sheriffs involved? Get on the phone, get a hold of these, say, hey, get your butts in there. I'm bringing the National Guard in. It's that simple. It's not hard. We're making it hard. And then guess what? It gets harder because you make it hard. You let the criminal element, you let all these degenerates, you let the criminal element, you let all these people run all over the place, and you don't care. And this is a true fact. I got a real good story for you here. Up at the new homeless place, up on 2nd Avenue, the 2nd Avenue Commons. Everywhere that there's some place for homeless people, they call it a commons. Okay. Now at the 2nd Avenue Commons, they have no room in there. So what do you have since you tore down the homeless camps? You have these homeless people that don't want to go, that can't get in there, sleeping outside. They're out on the street, they're defecating, doing whatever they need to do, pissing everywhere, dropping a deuce all over the place, and eating and littering and doing whatever. Drugs, the whole 9 yards. Oh, we got to get counselors out there. You can't even get counselors for mental people now. What makes you think you can get anybody to go out and help these homeless people? Oh, we got to get these therapists. We got to get this. We got to come up with a program. I told you I got a program. And I gave it to you many times. But I'm cruel and I'm insensitive and I'm stereotyping. No, I'm not. I'm not stereotyping. If you would behave, maybe I wouldn't be stereotyping you. How's that sound? Okay? The homeless shelter, those people out there, and I knew this was happening, and I called this, and no one believed me. Now, do you believe me? They're all sitting out there at that homeless shelter because they can't get in, and they're causing problems to the people who are going to the jail to visit. To the people, the attorneys, and business people who walk by there to go up 2nd Avenue past the jail. They have to be accosted by these people. I said it was going to happen, but you didn't listen to me. All right? I'm too controversial for any of these media outlets here, but I speak the truth and nobody wants to hear it. That's what the interesting part. And I have another media colleague that does the same thing, and people, only difference between me and him is he's with a prominent station. I'm not. That's the difference. And he does what he does, and he does it right. I'm still waiting for the mayor, Mayor Gainey, to come up to have a press conference about the report that is on his desk from the Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh, from the committee that he put together to go around and look, like Richie Fitzgerald's doing, to go make sure that the Schumann Center viable to open up. I think, no. We'll send out all these therapists to go see these kids. We'll put them in these little shelters and have people work these shelters here, these community centers there. Let's kiss their butt. We are not obligated to get them help. What you need to do is arrest these kids and put their parents in jail too. And start fining some of them. And start putting them in jail. And start telling them if they can't control their kids, they need not have any. Because this is getting out of control. All right? Let's talk about Kennywood now. You got the DA out here, and I agree with the DA. And I agree with what he says, okay? But here's the thing I have with the DA. You lost the case. You had the kid in custody. Somebody dropped the ball in court, and the kid got released that you arrested for that shooting last year at Kennywood. And you still haven't fixed the problem of where the gun came from. Okay? You still haven't fixed that, Kennywood. And then we have a state representative who represents the area there who says, well, the DA, he needs to come here and take a look at this. I talk to Kennywood every single day. I'm there to see that this place is safe for me and my family. Really? If it's that safe, then why did the incident that happened happen? How did that kid get that gun in there? Okay? And again, I agree in one perspective with the DA, but I don't agree with him in another perspective because, like the state rep says, he dropped the ball in court. Okay? And now you have an election coming up, and you have some of the people running against Steven Zapala who are saying now that he is discriminatory towards a certain race of people. Okay? Milton Rayford. Now, I know Milton Rayford because supposedly back in many years ago, I was dating a woman who hired Milton Rayford to help her son. I know Milton Rayford. Okay? So, Milton Rayford claims, and I don't know if this is true, because most of his cases please you out. Okay? Milton Rayford says that, in a quote here in the article here, it says that the district attorney is taking his cases and not accepting his plea arrangements. And that Milton Rayford has from a credible person on staff at the DA's office that told him this. That this is being deliberately done to him. Now, is that the way a district attorney is supposed to behave? No. But we keep electing them. Okay? And everybody who has ever worked for him, for Steven Zapala, or anyone who has ever worked or has ever been a public defender that doesn't like him because they don't get their way with the DA's office, they run against him. And a lot of them, some of them are former employees of his, former prosecutors that worked in his office, they try to run against him. But everybody continues to vote this guy in. Because nobody cares. It all boils down to my theme for this year. Nobody cares. Because they don't. All right? Nobody cares that the McDonald's downtown has to go out of business. They didn't renew their lease. I can see why. They can't control the bums because we don't put them in jail. They can't control the people that come in and sell drugs. They get high and overdose in the bathrooms. That's what goes on at these McDonald's downtown. Look at the one on Wood Street. Remember that one? Remember that girl about 3-4 years ago decided to come out of the McDonald's and beat up some guy? All because he didn't like his burger a certain way or something, and she got angry and ran out after him and beat him up? Okay? This is what goes on downtown. Nobody cares. This is what goes on in Kennywood. Nobody cares. And I've said many times about that gang in the Mon Valley, and law enforcement don't get it. If you shut that gang down, I'll bet $1 to a dime that the waterfront will be quiet. Kennywood will be safe. But you're too busy worrying about getting them into programs. We have to create programs for these kids. No, you don't. We have to send counselors out there. There's a reason for this. Yeah, parents aren't doing their job. That's what the reason is. Last year, my theme was nothing. And now nothing is coinciding with, and I say this with, nobody cares. Because no one does. How does 26 McDonald's Burger Kings in the Detroit area close up? How does Cracker Barrel, Old Country Store, say they're hurting? Okay. How does an entrepreneur or an enterprise in Pittsburgh here that has 8 McDonald's restaurants and can't make money has to file for bankruptcy? Okay. Some of this is the president's fault. Why isn't he getting on these companies for gouging people? Because that's exactly what they took COVID and went ahead and did. They gouged everybody. Everybody gouged each other. All these businesses went out and they gouged everybody. And they're getting away with it. Nobody's doing anything about it because nobody cares, everybody. Nobody cares. No one. No. And you know what's sad? I'm starting to not care. Yeah. That's where we are here now. I'm starting to not care. I hate to live my life that I don't care. But when you can't get anything accomplished, like with the Housing Authority City of Pittsburgh, I can't get nothing accomplished. They have insecure buildings. They have people selling drugs and dope. They have people doing all kinds of criminal activities in these buildings. And housing don't care. The manager doesn't care. We would be here all night if I told you what went on in this building that I live in right here. You catch what I'm getting at? Excuse me. The Housing Authority of the City of Pittsburgh. Nobody can do anything to shut it down. Nobody can do anything to get the executive office fired. The committee for the mayor's office has recommended it because I talked this to a real reliable source who told me, and I quote, it's in, but the mayor hasn't looked at it yet. And then I run into the mayor at a ceremony for my pastor who retired. Oh, Ralph, man. Yeah, I got you covered, man. I've been tied up with this police stuff, but yeah. Beginning of February. We're going into April. Okay, we're going into April. And Mayor Gainey had this committee. They were the last committee to turn in their report. All the other committees that he had, you see, he changed the art department. You see, he fired or had Scott Schubert step down. They recommended a new chief, this committee. And now the committee that he has put together for housing has recommended that the executive CEO be fired. But Mayor Gainey hasn't made a decision on whether to fire him or not, or what to do. So in the meantime, drugs keep getting trafficked, security's bad. How the managers don't care. All right. You got a mismanaged organization that is supposed to be providing housing that's partially funded by the federal government, and this is where we are with this. I know places that are federally funded that are HUD. And this is housing lying to you. I have two friends that live in two different buildings. And they both told me the same story. We're funded by HUD. There was a tenant in there having wild parties, drinking, drugs, foot traffic going in and out at all hours of the night, 3, 4 in the morning, blasting music. Landlord went up there, tap, 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 tap. Manager went up there and knocked on the door. Said, don't do this again. You do it one more time. I'm giving you one warning. You do it one more time and you're gone. It happened again. Tap, 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 tap. Within 10 days, they were out of the building. Eviction notice was served and everything. My other friend that lives in another HUD building, funded by HUD. He said that him and several other people, tenants in the building, were being harassed by a guest of another tenant, which has happened to me here. But that person was made a tenant and not kicked out of the building as a guest. Okay? But my friend lives in this other building, and he got harassed by a guest of a tenant. Not only did he report it, but several other tenants reported it to management. And guess what? Tap, 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 right on the door. Okay. This woman better never be in this building again. Okay. Or I'm evicting you. A week later, that woman was back again, selling drugs, panhandling, causing problems, harassing tenants. Tap, 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 tap. Handed them an eviction notice, gone within 10 days. But it's okay when a guest of a tenant comes in here and assaults my wife. Not once, but twice my wife's been assaulted by somebody in this building. By a tenant, and that tenant was never evicted. And by a guest of a tenant, and that guest was never put on the exclusion list, and that tenant was never evicted. And it says in the lease that that's what's supposed to happen, and it doesn't. And then in the meantime, you're crying. Good people out here who really need housing, affordable housing, can't get it because we got idiots still living in here. And not only do we have idiots living in here, we've got 300 people on these waiting lists. You see what I'm saying now? Oh, Ralph, you're on a personal crusade to shut housing down. No, I'm not. What I don't like is when you don't do your job. What I don't like is when a funded agency from HUD that is supposed to be actually go do background checks and drug testing every month. There should be a probation period. Like a job. 90 days probation before you get the highest rate, hourly rate, or before you're actually an employee. If you go work at a restaurant or if you go work in a hotel or whatever, you always got to wear black pants and a white shirt. Right? You go to Port Authority or Pittsburgh Regional Transit, excuse me, and you go work for them and you're training, you got to wear black pants and a white shirt and a tie. Okay? And then when you get hired by PRT, you're on 90 days probation. I went to go work at a thrift store, going around picking up donations. 90 days probation before I got the maximum rate. Okay? Why can't you have 90 days probation for new tenants? They have 5-6 write-ups within that time. You're out of here. Gone. Evicted. But housing will let 500, 600, 700 people or whatever it is on these waiting lists, and they're long, believe me. Okay? And if you did background checks and drug testing like they do at a job, treat it like a job. You want housing, you want good, affordable housing, then you can't be a criminal. You can't have the police coming to your place every night. You can't have women coming to your house and putting your apartment on fire. Okay? And I get told by management, he's allowed to have whoever he wants in his apartment. Oh, but I guess that woman could have caused a big fire on my whole floor. We all could have got wiped out. Huh. And I'm handicapped. I'm in a wheelchair. I can't move fast enough to get out. You see what I'm saying? But this is acceptable to Ed Gainey. This is acceptable to everybody else. This is acceptable to Ricky Burgess, who I can't talk to because he won't return my phone calls. And then when I call him out at city council meetings, he gets mad at me. Oh, I don't live in this area. Well, I know that. Okay. All right, some general topics here before we wrap things up here tonight on The Way I See It. Every Monday night, 7 p.m. on our 4 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. Please don't forget tonight at 10 p.m., PCTV Channel 21, Comcast 47, Verizon Cable, The Way I See It TV edition. And I'm about to have a radio edition coming up real soon, whether it be internet radio or local radio. All right. First Citizens Bank of Raleigh. Now, this isn't Citizens Bank here in Pittsburgh. First Citizens Bank of Raleigh, North Carolina, one of my second cities. I love Raleigh. What goes on here don't go on in Raleigh. Okay? They're buying Silicon Bank down in California. They're buying it. That's the way I see it tonight. Okay? Highmark, Allegheny General Health System, $181 million loss last year. How in the world, why is UPMC not having a problem? Again, is it somebody putting their hand? Somebody has to be putting their hands in a cookie jar. They have to be. Because I don't get it why no one's making money. Banks are even struggling. And no bailout. Good. That's one thing I'll give Joe Biden credit for, no bailout. I'm glad. No, you don't deserve a bailout because the last time we gave banks a bailout, what did they do for us? Nothing. They raised fees. They got in trouble for raising fees. Credit card companies didn't do anything for us. And their executives, according to Barack Obama, when he did an investigation into their funding for these banks from the federal government, was that all their executives went on exotic trips and took their families to the Bahamas, Hawaii, and wherever. They bought new cars, new homes with all that extra money. They gave none of it to their employees or to the consumer, except sticking it to you. And that's exactly why nobody cares. And that's why that's the way I see it. Thank you for watching tonight. I appreciate everyone that watched tonight. And I also appreciate you watching my archive versions on my YouTube channel. And I also appreciate the fact that you support my other shows as well, RW Media. And don't forget to become a subscriber here on the YouTube. 92, I need 8 more to make 100. So how about helping me out with that? I'm looking for June to make 100. It might take that long, then again, it might not. But you know what? If it does like it did for Christmas, when I said at the end of the year, I expect to be at 60, I was at 80. So you see what I mean? So maybe that I'll be at 100, maybe I'll be at 200. You see what I'm saying? Subscribers. So help me get to 100. And that's the way I see it tonight. Tomorrow night, don't forget 8:30 Sports Corner. Myself, Smoking Jim Frazier, right here on our 4 platforms at 8:30, and we will have Marty Leap on to talk about the Pirates. You know they're getting ready to start. Their first game is this week, and the home opener is next Friday. So to get you ready for the Pirates, I'll have Marty Leap on from Rum Bunter, who is a reporting internet newspaper who reports about baseball. And Marty Leap is in charge of the Pirates for Rum Bunter here in Pittsburgh. So we will have him on. He's been to spring training. He will tell us what's going on and give us the lowdown on the Pens. The Pirates. We'll talk about the Penguins, the Steelers. Every day something's up with the Steelers, the owners' meetings and so forth. We'll talk about the draft, which is coming up. So don't forget to tune in tomorrow night, 8:30, right here on our 4 platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. 8:30 tomorrow night, myself, Smoking Jim Frazier. All right? Sports Corner. We're every Tuesday, 8:30. Until next Monday night, for the way I see it, I am Ralph Williams. You have yourself a great night, and thank you.